begin our free webinar. So again, welcome. This is the Study Healthcare and Childcare in Canada. We are partnered with Stenberg College. So ACN Southern, we are an immigration and education consultancy firm. So we have partner schools in Canada. And for today, we are focusing on the programs of healthcare and childcare. All right. So for today, we will be talking about Canada. Okay, so facts about Canada. I will show you the reasons why you should study in Canada, how to get your student permit in Canada. So ACN Southern will help you with that. And you will also hear from the Director of International Recruitment for Southeast Asia from Stenberg College. So I will introduce our guest speaker later on. All right. So, let us talk about Canada, no? So, ASEAN Southern caters to three countries, and that's Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. But for today, we will be talking about Canada, okay? So, Canada is a country in North America. So, you will see there on your screen, the globe, you will find it above the United States of America, okay? So, interesting fact is Canada is one of the largest countries by total land area. So they have around almost 10 million square kilometers in land area. They have a population of 37.6 million people, and they have a population density of 4 people per square kilometer. And if we compare that to the Philippines, we have around 300,000 square kilometers. We have a population size of 109 million people and the population density of 368 people per square kilometer. So there is a big difference, no, sa land area and our population and density, no? Okay? So moving on your screens, you will see a photo of what Canada looks like. So that is a map. You can see yung mga provinces nila and their territories, okay? And their capital is located in Ontario, so that is Ottawa, okay? Now, another interesting fact, in Canada, they have two official languages. They have English and French, okay? So now let's talk about the reasons to study in Canada. All right. Number one is they have an outstanding quality of education. So from their primary school to secondary to post-secondary schools, they have very good education. In fact, they have 11 of the top 250 universities worldwide. Okay, so it is a world-class education. Okay. Another reason is it's one of the lowest tuition fees among English-speaking countries. So they are cheaper compared to the US, UK, and Australia. All right. Reason number three is they are number one in the quality of life rankings. So in fact, they have 5 of the top 100 best student cities in the world. So Canada, kahit na student visa pa lang yung meron kayo or study permit pa lang meron kayo in Canada, you will already experience the good quality of life there. Okay? Another reason is it's one of the safest countries in the world for international students. So of course, we understand no that you are new to the country. Of course, you would want to be safe there. Alam mong okay yung community. So Canada is a great place for that. In fact, they have one of the lowest crime rates. Okay, so because they have a fair justice system and they have very strict gun control laws. So as an international student, it is very safe to study in Canada. Okay. Another reason is Canada has a diverse and multicultural society. So, and in fact, they have a official national policy of multiculturalism. So in Canada, no, you won't be the only Filipino, you won't be the only foreigner, in fact, to be studying, staying, or living in Canada because they have a lot of international students and they also have a lot of immigrants. So it is very diverse. Now you will be meeting people from also different countries, not just the Philippines and not just local Canadians. Okay? So parang it's a melting pot, many cultures. Okay? Next is, I think this is very important, no, for an international student, is that you can work even while you are studying. So under the study permit, you are allowed to work part-time, which is 20 hours per week. And during the school breaks, you can work naman full-time. So this is a great way to gain Canadian work experience, and to also earn an income while you are studying. All right? Another reason is you can bring your spouse and children. Okay? So, under the study permit, your partner can join you and he or she is eligible for an open work permit, meaning they can work full time while you are studying and working part time. And you can also bring your children who can actually study for free because most schools in Canada are public schools. So, no tuition fee babayaran doon. Okay? Another reason is there are a lot of immigration possibilities once you study in Canada. Okay? So you will also hear about this kung ano yung mga possibilities ng immigration and yung jobs na pwede nyo makuha after you study in Canada. Alright? So, just to give you ma-visualize nyo lang, no? As mentioned, you will be under the student visa. You can work 20 hours per week. While your spouse, if you bring them, they can work full-time under a open work permit. Okay? So, yon. All right. Now, once nasabi ko na yung mga reasons, now let's talk about yung how can you study in Canada. So, what are the qualifications and requirements in order for you to come to Canada as an international student? Okay. Now, in order for you to study in Canada, first you must secure a study permit. Okay? So, this is like, yun yung parang tinatawag nilang student visa. Pero in Canada, they call it study permit. So, this is a document that allows, this is a document issued by the Canadian government that allows non-Canadians to study at designated learning institutions or DLIs. And when we say DLIs, these are schools approved by the government to host international students. Now, we are partnered up with Stenberg College, which is a DLI. Okay? All right. So for the qualifications and the requirements, so first is you have to be at least 18 years old. So you have to be of legal age. And to prove this, you must submit a birth certificate. Okay? Next is you have to be at least a senior high school graduate, or if you are from the old curriculum, di kayo inabutan ng K to 12, at least second year college. So you are required then to submit your diploma and your transcript of record. Okay? Next is the English requirement. Now, this is flexible. Some schools in Canada, they do not require getting an English requirement such as the IELTS or the PTE or any other kind of English test like that. Pero some schools in Canada kasi, they recognize that Filipinos are good in English na because it's also one of our official languages here. So instead, you can just submit a medium of instruction saying that you use English, sorry, that you just have to submit a certificate of medium of instruction in English. Okay, so instead of getting the examination. All right. Next is you have to show that you are financially capable. So this is actually important. Ito yung tinatawag na show money. Okay? So you are required to show that you are financially capable to support your cost of living and your tuition fee. Okay? Next is you should have good health and character. So you are required to show mga medical exams like that. Okay? And then lastly, you should have a genuine purpose to study. So our agenda for today is showing how you can study in Canada. So we understand naman no that some of you might be using the study permit to do your immigration possibilities in Canada. Pero while you are applying for the student permit, you must state lang na you are there to study. Okay? So in order to show that, you must submit a study plan. So this is a brief overview of why you want to study in Canada, ano yung program na take mo, and then what are your plans after your study. It's important to show yung mga employment opportunities mo when you go back home here in the Philippines, and also social ties, the reasons why you are going back to the Philippines. For example, family, or maybe you want to take, you have other responsibilities here in the Philippines. But don't worry, no, this letter, we will help you, ACN will help you edit and compose this letter, and we have a template for that. Okay? actually the list of requirements and the qualifications, we will give it to you once we start our application. So the full list of the requirements. All right. Now let us talk about the permit application process. So this is actually mabilis lang siya. It's 4 steps, okay? 4 stages. First is we have the contract signing. So step 1, you have to sign the ACN agreement. Step 2, payment of the ACN fee. And then step 3, as mentioned, we will give you a complete list of the requirements. Okay? Once the contract has been signed, we will begin with your study planning. So we will have to determine or finalize the program you will take, at which school you will study at. So for today, we are focused on healthcare and childcare with Stenberg College. Okay. Location, we will know later on kung saan located in Stenberg. And then finally, step 4 is we will begin composing your study plan or your letter to the embassy. Okay. So as mentioned, no, this is the we will have to determine the location of your kung saan niyo gusto mag-study. Okay, types of program. Later on, we will know kung ano yung mga programs ni Stenberg College. I'll let Stenberg talk about more of their programs. Okay. Now, we will also do your enrollment. So ACN Southern will handle your enrollment, no. Pero all you have to do is fill out your application or enrollment forms, gather your requirements, and then ACN Southern will submit your application. Okay? When we submit your application, in return, we will get the letter of offer. So, dun sa letter of offer, dun nakalagay kung ano na yung course na kunin mo and how much is the tuition fee and how much is the initial deposit. So, ang maganda dito, schools in Canada, Stenberg College, you don't have to pay the full tuition fee. You can just pay an initial tuition fee to secure your slot for the next intake. Okay? So, para siyang down payment. Okay? Once the school receives your initial payment, we will receive the letter of acceptance, meaning that you are already officially enrolled at Stenberg College. All right. When we have that, we can begin with the permit application. Step 1 is you will fill out the application forms and gather your requirements. ACN will submit your permit application, and then we will schedule your medical health check, submit your biometrics, and then finally, we just have to wait for the permit decision. Now, the whole process can take around 2 to 3 months, but with the ongoing pandemic, we are anticipating that it will be longer than that. Okay? Pero don't worry, most of our students kasi, they are already planning for late 2021 or kaya pa na siya ng mid 2021. Okay? All right. So our services, again, no, ACN Southern stands for Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. So these are the services that we offer. Okay. Now, you can like us on Facebook so that you can contact with us. You can send us a message through our page. Okay. Pero our contact information then, if you choose email, you can email us at info@southernimmigration.com. So you can also ask for a copy of the estimated expenses for the application process. All right. And you can also get a one-on-one orientation with ACN. So this is highly encouraged that you get oriented kasi with an ACN consultant, mas madidiscuss nyo in depth yung mga hindi ko na-touch dito sa webinar. Okay? So you can talk to them about how you can start. Maybe you have some situations na private na hindi nyo siya ma-discuss here dito sa webinar na to. So ang one-on-one orientation naman, this can be done via phone call, Messenger, Zoom, Google Meet, or Skype. Virtual lang naman. Alright? Okay, now this is fairly new. You can check out our YouTube account where we will be posting a recording of this webinar. Okay? So if meron kayong na-miss out na part or maybe late kayo nakapasok sa webinar, you can watch it again on our YouTube account. Alright? So, so subscribe to our YouTube account. Now, I am done with my presentation. So that was ACN Southern. So right now, I would like to introduce the Director of International Recruitment for Stenberg College. So, Jenica Licerio. Hi, Jenica. How are you?
Hi, Bea.
Hi,
Nice to see you
kamusta?
again.
Yes, nice to see you again. All right, so I will leave you to start na your presentation.
All right, thanks, Bea. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Jenica Licerio. I'm the Director for International Admissions for Southeast Asia for Stenberg College. You might be wondering, I'm also based here in the Philippines, but actually today I've invited someone who's based on our campus. Her name is Karen. So I will have her talk about our school later on after the presentation. So what I'll do now, let me just see if I can just share ko lang yung buong screen ko. There you go. Okay. So for today, I understand that the reason you joined this webinar is because you want to know your option in studying in Canada. And for today, we will be talking about mainly about the early childhood education and the program for nurses. Okay. So first, we'll discuss or we'll give you a bit of an overview of our school. We'll talk about the two programs that I've mentioned, and then we'll talk about the admission process that we have on campus. And of course, we'll do a bit of a Q&A later on. And we really want it to be interactive. So as you can see on your Zoom control panel, before we start, pakitype na lahat ng mga questions ninyo while we go along the presentation so that if later on, I can just go through your questions one by one. Okay. So first of all, about Stenberg College, we have been in the education industry for over 30 years now. This is actually our 30th year. We are a private post-secondary college. So we are mostly known for being a medical college in Surrey, British Columbia. So that's our location. Our specializations are healthcare, education, business, and human services. So as I've mentioned, ang location ng school natin is in Surrey, British Columbia. The most popular, I guess, city in British Columbia would be Vancouver. So we're just around 45 minutes away from Vancouver. Our location is really ideal kasi we're just right in front of the SkyTrain station. So it's a very accessible location for students. And ang maganda dito, you're living in Surrey, you have a lower cost of living. If you compare it to Vancouver, that is. Since Stenberg College has been in the industry for 30 years now, we've established a very strong employer and industry relationship. So this is something that we're really proud of because we have a very high employment rate. We have employer partners already where our students go to after they graduate. Right now, our programs are being delivered online, pero if by next year naman, we are still geared towards face-to-face delivery. So just to give you a bit of a background of the other programs that we offer, aside from what we will be discussing today, we do have all of these programs for international students. So we have your business diploma, early childhood, optician, nursing program, and then the English program that we have. We have a healthcare aid program as well. And then if you are onshore, you'll see there are more medically related programs. Okay? Kasi maraming nagtatanong sa akin when they check the website. These are mostly onshore programs, meaning yung mga nandoon ka na sa Canada. So, as I've mentioned, we have established a really strong relationship, industry relationship, because we've been in the industry for a very long time. But aside from that, we also have partnered with some of the best schools in British Columbia. So we have a partnership with Yorkville University and BCIT for those na gusto naman makagain ng bachelor degrees. Okay, so if you're interested about that, you can probably just connect with us later on. So let's talk about the program details, yung ating early childhood and nursing program. So let's start with the early childhood educator with co-op. So this program is 69 weeks long. It's a program that addresses yung mga gusto maging licensed na early childhood educators in Canada. It's 69 weeks long, so about 1 year and 4 months in duration. And we have a 10 to 23 weeks paid co-op for this. So for those of you na hindi masyadong familiar sa terminology, co-op means cooperative work experience. It is when, it's like internship here in the Philippines. So it's part of your curriculum. And then what we do is instead of the students looking for a job to get their internship, so the co-op, what we do is we place them with an employer where they will be working for 2 hours per week. And they will get paid, and it's industry rate. So if you're thinking of enrolling into this program, the intakes that we have or the starts are January, April, and September. Of course, right now, because it's already November, hindi na namin ini-encourage na mag-January pa kayo. April and September na yung intake that we are accepting applicants for. So when you get into this program, ano ba yung magiging outcome? Okay? It's either you go for an articulation or work. Okay? What do you mean by articulation? Articulation means na maybe you do not have a bachelor degree yet, and you will articulate, you will transfer over after you complete our program with us, you transfer over to our partner universities like Yorkville University and BCIT to complete a bachelor degree. Or kung pagkatapos nyo mag-aral, gusto nyo na magtrabaho, pwede din yan because this program is geared towards work readiness. Once you studied early childhood educator with co-op, you will not just earn the certificate itself. Hindi lang yon ang makukuha ninyo. There are other certificates that you will be gaining in order for you to be really effective sa pagiging early childhood educator. So we have your emergency childcare first aid certificates, workplace hazardous materials information system, food safe level 1, personal and professional development skills, appetite to play certificate. So marami siyang certificates na nakukuha. Now, once you enter this program, maybe about 4 months into the program, once you just complete the first 4 subjects, you can already apply as an early childhood educator assistant. And as an assistant, you can already be earning around $17 per hour. So if you compare it to other international students, in BC kasi the average minimum salary is about $13, $14 per hour. Pero once you start this program, sandali na lang ang hihintayin mo, mga 4 months na lang, and then you can already apply to become an assistant. And so, na-maximize mo ngayon yung earning capabilities mo. Because as I've said, as an assistant, you'll be earning around $17 per hour. Once you get your license as an early childhood educator, you will be, the average salary on that would be about $20 per hour. So ano yung requirements to enter this program? We accept year 12. So if you are from the K-12, okay, cohort, then once you graduate K-12, pwede ka nang mag-apply dito sa program na ito. Or kung galing tayo, katulad ko, galing sa old system, grade 10, and then mag-4 years ka na college, as long as you have completed second year college, then you qualify for this program. We will also, yung mga bachelor graduates din, if you think na, okay, after ng bachelor degree mo, you want to gain the license as an early childhood educator in Canada, then we will also accept that. Another requirement is volunteer work with children. So this type of volunteer work is not formal. So kung may anak ka, that is considered work with children. Siyempre, nag-aalaga ka. O kaya naman, kung wala kang anak, nagbantay ka na ng kapatid mong mas bata sa'yo, nagbantay ka ng kamag-anak mo na mas bata sa'yo, or maybe your kapitbahay, that can already be a volunteer work. So we're not very strict about the age though, like it says there on your screen, na 3 to 5, but we can make some adjustments to that. So we just have a form that you fill out, and that's already your proof of 50 hours of volunteer work. 50 hours is just approximately 3 days. We also need a reference letter, so someone who can vouch that you are really suitable to work with children. And of course, we require language proficiency. With the language proficiency, we accept IELTS 6.0. We also accept other language requirements such as PTE, TOEFL IBT. But good news for Filipinos, because this is just applicable to Filipino citizens, we can waive the IELTS for you. So if you don't have it, but you can get a medium of instruction coming from your last school attended, we will be accepting that for the language requirement. So you don't need to take your IELTS. Siyempre, importanteng malaman ang tuition fee ng program na to. Tuition fee. So if you plan to secure your slot, the initial deposit fee for this program is 5,150. We do not ask for the full program price immediately. So pwedeng installment ang payment natin. So for this particular program, 5,150 Canadian dollars ang initial deposit to secure your slot. And then the rest will be paid per installment. And then the total for this 1-year 4-month program is about 20,525. Now, that already includes everything. Lahat na yon, kasama na lahat ng fees, lahat ng miscellaneous, lahat ng student fees, lahat ng materials, yung medical coverage nyo. So it already has everything. And that's already for the full duration. So you might ask me, what happens to your initial deposit fee kung sakaling ma-deny ka ng student permit mo and you don't want to reapply anymore? We refund the full initial deposit fee. We don't deduct any processing fees. Nagiging iba lang yan dahil na, doble pa. Dahil sa exchange rate, or probably your bank charged you with a fee. But from our school, we really return the full deposit fee. So that is the Early Childhood Educator Certificate Program. Now, let's move forward. Later kung titignan yung mga questions ninyo, just type in your questions if you have any for the early childhood. Let's move forward to the postgraduate diploma in Canadian nursing. So we have a program. So sa mga nanonood ngayon na mga nurses, if you're a registered nurse, this program is for you. So we've specifically designed a program that will allow internationally educated nurses to practice this profession in Canada, in particular in British Columbia. So this program is 90 weeks in duration, and it also has a paid co-op. So 90 weeks is about 1 year, well, including the break, it would be around 1 year and 9 months. So almost 2 years of studying and about 5.5 months of paid co-op. We have 4 intakes per year for this program: January, March, June, and September. January, wala na tayong na-accept na enrollment dyan. Masyado nang maikli ang panahon. Pwede pang humabol sa March, but the recommended intake at this point would be June and September. This is a dual qualification program. So I'll be explaining paano siya naging dual qualification. So if you are an RN, you might have already heard or you've probably researched yung proseso sa licensing. Okay? The licensing process for the registered nurses and licensed practical nurses will be addressed during your study with us. So ito, pinapakita ko lang, overview lang ng ano yung program flow ninyo. So for those nurses na gustong mag-English for academic purpose, kaya yan green because it's optional. Kaya iba yung kulay niya. Hindi lahat nagdadaan sa English studies, okay? If you just want to go for an English study or maybe your English proficiency is not acceptable dito sa program na to, then you'll have to go through a 12-week English program. Now, let's say, okay naman yung English proficiency mo or you don't need an English for academic purpose, then the first stage of your program would be an accelerated HCA. Ibig sabihin, within the postgraduate diploma, meron kaming in-embed na healthcare aid program. It's a fast-track version. The normal HCA program that we will be running for next year is 1 year in duration. Pero ito, this is just 5 months, okay? And you will be gaining your HCA license to practice after you complete it. Once you have the healthcare aid, so may lisensya ka na, you will be in the healthcare industry na. Once you have completed this, we will be placing you with an employer and you will be put into a co-op environment. So after that, you will be back studying nursing in a Canadian healthcare context. You'll be reviewing medical terms, and then you will have another co-op as a final 20 weeks of the program. Now, while you're going through all of this, okay, because our study time, even with the ECE, it's just 20 to 25 hours per week. Yan lang naman ang requirement when you're studying. Because the rest of the time, you can actually work part-time. So while you're going through this postgraduate diploma in Canadian nursing, we will be addressing the licensing process as well. So if you're familiar, we will have to do the application through NNAS, that's the National Nursing Assessment Service. And then once that's done, magre-register tayo sa province, sa BCCNP, so British Columbia College of Nursing Professionals. Once that is done, yung registration mo, you will undergo an NCAS competence assessment. So the competence assessment is a 3-part exam to identify your competency as a nurse, if it matches with what's being with what's required in British Columbia. And then once you're done with your NCAS competence assessment, for those na wala pang NCLEX, so mag-NCLEX kayo. And for those naman na ang gusto ay maging licensed practical nurse, magte-test naman kayo ng CPNRE. So all of those process, kasi nakahiwalay pa talaga ang process ng licensing for RNs and LPN, we will be addressing those because you will be given a review and preparation for your IELTS within this program. Within this program also, you will be given a review and preparation for the NCAS competence assessment because that's a make or break part of the licensing. Napaka-importante nun. And then you will be given a review and preparation also for your NCLEX, kung wala ka pa nun, or your CPNRE. So all of that ina-address throughout the whole program. Ano yung outcome ng program na to? The outcome of this program is, number 1, you can be a registered nurse in British Columbia. Second is you can be a licensed practical nurse in British Columbia. And definitely, number 3, all throughout, while nag-aaral ka, you're still a healthcare aid as granted in the beginning of the program. Now, our students are not qualified for a postgraduate work permit. Let me just put it out there right now because we're a private college. However, Let me just remind everyone that PGWP is a way for you to gain extra points through work experience. And since our graduates already qualify for PR applications, for PR pathways rather, we don't need that. So with our early childhood education certificate and postgraduate diploma in Canadian nursing, what we do is we provide our students the co-op placement wherein nakimimit na nila yung mga employers. If ang student natin, let's just say, if the student does not have work after they complete the program and they can't, they have a hard time securing a work offer, Stenberg College will be providing them with a temporary work visa. And under that temporary work visa, while they're going through that, we will be assisting them with a long-term work sponsorship. So the work is sort of secured na for our students. So now, let's talk about the entry requirements for our postgraduate diploma in Canadian nursing. Of course, you need to fill out the forms. You have to be a bachelor degree holder here in the Philippines before you can be an RN. So, of course, your bachelor degree, yung RN registration mo. And we have a work experience requirement for RNs, 2 years full-time paid work in the past 10 years. Ibig sabihin, and 6 months of, of that should be within the past 5 years. Ibig sabihin, ina-allow naman namin that it is, a combination. It can be a combination of different employers as long as they have 2 years full-time paid work as a nurse. It's not limited to hospital work. If you are a school nurse, clinic nurse, derma nurse, clinical instructor, those are accepted. Okay, even your clinical practice, clinical nursing practice hours when you were in under your BSN, those are admissible as well. Next is we need a police certificate from the country, of course, photocopy of your passport. And for nurses, kailangan naman talaga ang IELTS. So for us, we require 6.0 for the IELTS overall score. We will accept academic or general. But again, good news, we waive IELTS to enter the program. If you do not want to go through the IELTS before you enroll into the program, it's fine. We can waive it. You just need to provide a medium of instruction. However, for the nursing program, we will still conduct an English exam when you arrive on campus. Okay? And depende sa naging result nun, we can recommend an English for 12 weeks or not anymore. Tuition fee. So tuition fee for this program is, again, we have a standard deposit fee of 5,150. The rest is per installment. So for the full duration of the program, including all the fees and all the materials, it would be up to 21,315. If you have an English included into the program, then there will be just a difference of about 3,000 Canadian dollars. The same pa rin ang initial deposit fee. Right now, we're running a promo for this particular program. So for the postgraduate diploma in Canadian nursing only, we have an option for you to start the program online. So if you're going to start the program online, we will give you an outright discount. So the online version, kasi instead of the 5,150, we require 8,100 Canadian dollars for the deposit fee. But since we have a discount, we will remove 6,500 from the tuition fee. And so you can start the program with just 1,600 Canadian dollars. So that's just around 60,000 pesos. And you can already start the program. So if you start it online, it's online is just part one of the program. Part two will still be face to face in October. So we still need you to fly to Canada. So admission process of our school is quite easy. You just need to submit your documents and requirements to ACN Southern. And once ACN Southern reviews all your documents, kompleto naman, they will submit it to us. And once we see that everything is complete and you meet the requirements, we can give you an offer of admission within 24 hours. After that, na magkaroon kayo ng offer, you will already be instructed to make a payment for your deposit fee. We use Flywire for our payments. Once your payment has been received, we will issue you with your contract, your enrollment contract, and some documents that you need to sign. And once you sign that and send it to us, we will give you the letter of acceptance. And yan ang gagamitin ng ACN Southern to lodge your student visa application. We also provide a letter of co-op, letter of support, and receipt to support your student visa application. So I've mentioned kanina that I mentioned that we have already established a very strong employer and industry relationship. In fact, across all our programs, all that we deliver, we have a 98% employment rate. And for HCAs right now, it's 100%. So this is an important part, COVID-19 readiness plan. So we are an approved DLI for the COVID-19 readiness plan that is required by the Canadian government. Now, aside from the readiness plan, I would just like to share for all our students, we are extending some services for those who will be arriving next year. So if you arrive next year, we will also be assisting you with, your airport pickup and transfer. All right? So we also have a list of possible na pwede nyong puntahan for accommodation for your 14-day quarantine. Okay? But if you have that settled, then that's good. And then we will be securing the students' meals for the rest of the quarantine period. So finally, just as a recap, why study with us? So number one, we have a very ideal campus location. We have free ESL and academic support tutorials, one-on-one student support and coaching. There are a lot of professional development as well that we conduct on campus. And very important for international students, paid co-op and practicum placements. So you don't need to look for an employer. We also have an immigration consultant on campus. So this is really helpful for the international students because they can just let us know that they need assistance, right? If they need to consult an immigration lawyer or immigration consultant, then we do have that for them. Very high employment rate. And for the PR pathway, that is available for the programs that I normally discuss here in the Philippines, like the early childhood and the postgraduate diploma in Canadian nursing. Those have PR pathways available to them. And also, just as a backup, we provide a temporary work permit for our students. So I know that's a lengthy presentation and I know that's a lot of information to take. If you have any questions, we can go through those questions right now.